So let's wrap up this crazy year. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by Regular Dude. Today let's do a 2021 year-end wrap-up. So let's talk about the YouTube channel itself first. If you've been following this channel for a while, I've gone through different phases of how I do my build videos. Sometimes I would do step-by-step videos, and then other times I would just do kind of summary videos. And I'm trying to come to a balance, but I've discovered that I need to go with the best of both worlds. So what I've decided to do over the last period of time, I don't know how long it's been, honestly, but I'm doing both. So if I'm doing a build video, I will do step-by-step, getting in detail about the build process and what I'm doing. And then I will also do, for that particular video, a summary as a separate video, a much condensed version. So instead of an hour-long step-by-step video showing every process that I do and how I tackle each part, I have a summary video where I just basically talk about how things have gone so far with the kit, bring up anything noteworthy for the build process, and then add links from both videos to the other. So if a person is going along on a summary and, well, I'd rather see what happened with that, they can go watch the other video and see it in detail. So that's kind of the format I've gone with, and it seems to have worked very well. I've got a lot of people that really like the step-by-step stuff and have encouraged me to continue doing that. Jim Cernaski, that's you, buddy. You've got me going again. And then the summary videos, some people love those because they can just kind of see how the kit's going along and all is good with the world. So I've got the best of both worlds going. Also, something I have added into the mix is some like experiment / demo videos. I recently did one on the effects of certain decal solvents on the different paints that I use when building model kits. And I think I'm going to be doing more of those in the future, more demo stuff, more experiments, stuff like that. And by no means is it like, you know, the end all of scientific experiments and stuff, because there's other people that do a way better job using the scientific method to demonstrate what they're doing. I'm just doing real world stuff, trying stuff, you know, seeing how it reacts, you know, showing how certain products work against others. But I want to do a lot more of that this year. That was one of my original intentions when I started this channel, but I got away from it and mainly focused on beginner videos and actual build series. So look for more of the experiment / demo stuff. Also, I've thrown in some what I call short kit reviews, and there's two reasons why it's called short. I try and keep them short, and because the reviews I've been doing under that moniker have been from a friend of mine, Keith Short. He's got a lot of kits. He's always buying new kits, and he'll ask me to go through it, do a review, and post it up. I don't build the kits. He builds them or puts them in his stash or whatever. But it's something that's kind of fun. I can look at different kits, you know, maybe of subjects I wouldn't necessarily build. But I can take a look, and just using what knowledge I have of kit parts and stuff like that, I can kind of, you know, show what's in the box and discuss different aspects. So look for more of these short kit reviews. And last thing I want to talk about as far as the channel goes, and it's one of the things I've been really enjoying, and that is the Chatterbox series. And what that is, for those who don't know, Jim from Shutter Ace, YouTube channel Shutter Ace, and myself, we do what's called Chatterbox. And what it is, it's kind of, we use Zoom and we just record a conversation between the two of us talking about whatever subject we might be discussing on a given day. We plan on doing more of those this year. We have a lot of fun doing them, and mostly they've been posted on his channel, because, you know, I'm a bonehead and I don't like messing around with software and stuff. But what we're trying to do is whenever one of us comes up with a subject, it'll actually get posted on his channel, right? If I have a subject I want to talk about, I'll post it on my channel. But then we add links in the descriptions of said videos from our own channels. For instance, if he does, you know, a video, I'll do a quick commercial and say, hey, just to let everybody know, there's a new chatterbox up. Click on the link and check it out. So that way, you know, if people like to follow along, they know where to go to see it if it's not on my channel or on his channel, if that makes sense. So enough of that. Real quick, let me talk a little bit about the kits I completed in 2021. So I was looking through my photos and videos and everything and realized that I actually completed, now granted a couple of them were actually started in 2020, but they were completed in 2021. So I actually completed 13 kits this year, and I don't have any unfinished kits lying about. Well, yeah, I do. I kind of have one. It's a Panzer II that the aforementioned Keith Short gave to me to review and told me I could build it if I wanted. But it's a rough one. I may get back to it, but it's one of those short run kits from a smaller manufacturer. I don't even remember the manufacturer now, and it's a toughie. And life's too short to build those kind of kits anymore. But I may get back to it and finish it, but we'll see. So that's really the only unfinished kit I have. Everything else is done. And that total was 13. So that's a little bit more than one kit a month. And I didn't really realize that I'd built that much. And I'm pretty stoked. So without further ado, let's take a look at each one of these kits. So what I'll do is I'll describe the kit, what kit it was, and then I'll show you a photo from the slideshow I did for the end of each video for the build series on those particular kits. So the first one that I finished was the Tamiya 1/48 scale F-16 CJ. Now, first of all, I want to send out thanks to Eric Davenport. He sent me a big stack of kits in the mail, and this is one of them. Right? You're going to hear his name throughout this series of videos because he gave me a lot of kits, and they're all really nice kits, and I've really had fun building them. But the first one I completed was the F-16 CJ. So thanks, Eric. I really appreciate it. It was a fun kit. It was the first kit I used the Ammo by MiG airbrush paints, acrylic paints. And other than that, it was just pretty much straight out of the box. Yeah, straight out of the box. So here's what it looks like. So the next one I built was the Dragon, and I think it was, I can't remember if it was one of the black box series, but it's one of the ones that it's like a particular kit. So there's not a whole bunch of extra stuff like Dragon likes to do, where they throw in a bunch of parts from other kits or add new sprues to old kits. So you can, it's not one of those. It was pretty much all the parts in there were for this particular kit. And that was the Dragon Shtube 3, which represented the Shtube that Georg Bosa commanded. And got a couple of thanks on that one. First of all, I want to thank Peter Person for sending me that kit. That was a huge gesture, and it was a really nice kit. I enjoyed building it, and it was kind of fun to do a particular vehicle, which brings me to this. In doing some research, there were some corrections that needed to be made on the kit to make it more accurate, but it was in German, so I can read very, 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 very little German. So I had, I put out a call some time back for someone, if someone could translate it for me. And Patrick Schaefer stepped up and he translated that whole written document that I found online. He translated that for me into English, and I really appreciate it. Patrick, if you're watching this, I miss seeing your name pop up on YouTube, but you know, again, thanks a lot for translating that for me. And it kind of worked out. I put the kit off for a while, and Joachim at Yorama Motobow and Marcus at Scale Bench, they hosted a group build, and it was called the Panzerjäger / Tank Buster group build, and they invited me to join in on that, and I did, and that was the perfect vehicle for it. So thanks guys, that was a lot of fun on that group build. Enjoyed it. There was a lot of good kits built for that, but it was the first real extensive whitewash paint job weathering I did on it, and I was pretty stoked with the way it turned out. So let's take a look. Number 3 for the year was another Eric Davenport kit. It was the Hasegawa 148 scale F6F-3 Hellcat. So thanks, Eric, for sending that one my way, and also thanks to Ezra Talavera for the decals, because I wanted to do a particular aircraft and in British markings, and it was a really good kit. It was a Osaka, I can't remember, no, Hasegawa kit, but I think it was like originally I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, it's a great kit, went together really well. The detail was great on it, and very enjoyable build. Different color scheme for me. I don't do British aircraft often, but you'll see kind of a pattern in the upcoming builds for 2021. Was a really good kit. I enjoyed it a lot, and I was really pleased with how the paint job turned out. Did some masking on that one, which was a new endeavor for me, so take a look. Fourth kit for the year was another Eric Davenport kit, the Accurate Miniatures 148 scale Yak 1 on skis. This was my first Accurate Miniatures kit, and I have to say that I enjoyed it. It was a good kit. I think it was 1/72nd scale. Good kit, and went together well, and it really reminded me of the old days, and not so much for the way the kit went together, but the way the instructions were laid out. It's an American company, now long defunct, but it was an American company, and they did their instructions to where they didn't just offer illustrations like Tamiya and Ming and Tacom and all those. They actually had step-by-step within the step written instructions as well as illustrations. And their recommendation is, you know, you build this kit the way we say to build it, and it'll go together fine. Because, you know, nowadays a lot of times we'll, you know, as modelers, we'll do a lot of sub-assemblies, and we'll do all this and that and the other, and then we'll start throwing things together. But according to their instructions, and I haven't tried otherwise because it's the only Accurate Miniatures kit I've built, if you follow their instructions step by step for each step, it should go together with no problems. And it did. Now, I don't know if all Accurate Miniatures kits are like that, but this one was, and it was a good first experience. So here's what it looks like. Fifth kit I built was Tamiya 38T in 1/35th scale. The new toolkit, newer toolkit, another Eric Davenport kit. 38T is a kit I've always wanted to build, and the Tamiya version is really good. It goes together well, like usual. The detail is good, and it came with a decent figure. And that was one of the parts of the hobby that I like to try and practice whenever I can. And it helps if you have a halfway decent figure. And this figure was good, so I painted it up and put it on the vehicle as well. And just really liked the way it turned out. So here it is. Next up was a kit I bought from Jeff V Corner Store. Now, if you guys follow the model shops of the world, he opened up shop not too long ago. I guess he used to work at Squadron, and he left there and started his own thing. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, I haven't read anything, so I don't know. But he closed up shop, and he's been doing some really deep discounts, getting rid of merchandise, and it looks like he's about liquidated what he had. But I did buy this kit from there, and I don't think he closed up for any problems like companies usually have, because in my one instance of ordering something from him, really quick service, came quickly in the mail, so, you know, I don't know. But it was the Ming 1/35 scale Jagdpanther G1, and I really liked that kit. It was a good kit. It was fun to build. The color scheme, the camouflage scheme, was a new one for me, and it was a lot of fun painting that one. I really liked the color scheme on it. And I say all my kits were done from last year. The only thing I'm waiting on that one is just because my job has been hectic, and with the holidays being like they are, the craft and hobby stores aren't very, you know, customer friendly right now as far as crowds. So maybe after the holidays are done, I can go and get the final thing I need for it, which is some foliage to put on wire around the hull. I guess they came with fittings welded on so they could string wire and stick, you know, branches and foliage from wherever they were, you know, setting up ambush to conceal a little bit better. So that's really the only thing I have left to do on that. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, the kit is done, and here's what it looks like. Number 7. Now this one was a challenge, and it was not a challenge in any other way other than it was the first kit I've ever done with rigging on it. It's another Eric Davenport kit, and it's the Tamiya 1/48 scale Fairy Swordfish Mark II. Now, the Swordfish is a really awesome aircraft, and even though I struggled with it a little bit, and it was my own doing, not the kit at all, it was just the rigging. I've never done rigging before on an aircraft, and that was somewhat challenging because of my own inexperience. But in the end, it did all go together nicely. And I have to say, this is one of my top kits for the year. One of my, for no other reason than there was a bit of a challenge that I was able to overcome. The subject was really cool. Biplane first for me. And it was just a really good kit, and I really liked the way it turned out. As you can see from the photo coming up, I did it with the folded wing setup because the wingspan on it's huge. Even though it's 1/48 scale, it's got a huge wingspan, and I don't have that much room. So I thought, hey, you can do it with the wings folded. That's what I did. So overall, this I think is one of my favorite builds of the year. Now the next up, number 8, was the Tamiya 1/48 scale Mosquito. Another Eric kit. There's no video of it or anything. The kit was great. The paint went fine. Everything went fine. But the video, it's like the gremlins were in my equipment or something, and I had nothing but trouble trying to video that build. So all I have is a slideshow of it. First kit I've done in photo reconnaissance markings, and I went with the blue photo reconnaissance. I had to mix up the paint just to get an approximation of what I wanted, and this is another top one for me. I've always wanted to build a Mosquito, and this was a great kit, and I really liked the way it turned out. I'm just really bummed that I didn't get video of it. Or usable video. But anyway, it's another one of my top kits. I really enjoyed it. So here's what it looks like. Next up was the 1/35 scale Trumpeter Tiger 1 Late. Now that one was sent to me by Jim Cernaski. And Jim, if you're watching, again, thanks for the kit. It was a blast. I chose to do this one with transport tracks, and since it was it was supposed to be somewhat in transport mode, I bought a covered muzzle brake for it, and used that. And the kits I used were Master Club. It's my first experience with Master Club tracks, and I've used Fruel, whatever it's called, Fruel, we'll call it, metal tracks, and I've used Master Club. And given a choice, I would use Master Club hands down. There's no cleanup. They're molded, they're cast really well, and they just work. They work great. They look really good. So if you haven't tried them, try them. They're great. They're great tracks. But it was a really fun kit. It came with pre-molded polystyrene Zimmerit for it. Not molded on the kit, molded by itself, so it had to be attached. And in the video, I demonstrate how I use that in the videos, I should say, and it was really good stuff. So that was a really, really, really good kit. I had to do some research on it because I was doing a particular vehicle, and found out some interesting tidbits about tracks and how they were actually painted red or green, depending on if they were for King Tiger or Tiger tracks. We'll get into all that, but that added an element that I like, because I like unusual elements to a kit if at all possible, and that was one of them. But it was a really good kit. Had a lot of fun building that one. Really liked the way it turned out. The camouflage turned out good, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thanks again, Jim, for the kit, and here it is. Next up was the 1/72nd scale Arma Hobby Hurricane Mark II-C Tropical. Fairly new company, I guess, and I had heard some stuff on some podcasts about their kits and how good they were, and I got a gift card from my kids for Father's Day. I thought, hey, let's see if Amazon has them, and they did. So I ordered the kit from Amazon, and pretty much everything everybody's said about them being so good is true. It's a really, really good kit. Fit together really well. The detail is just spectacular. I mean, I don't like to gush about stuff, but for a 1/72nd scale kit, especially a newer manufacturer, it's just the detail on it's phenomenal. Looks really good. Had a lot of fun. Did some research on the particular aircraft that I was doing, which was fun, and I just like the way it turned out overall. Really good kit. I think that might have been the first kit that I returned to Mission Models paints, and it worked out pretty good. So anyway, here's what it looks like. Kit number 11 was the Tamiya 1/35th scale M2A2 Bradley. The reason I built, that was another one from Eric, thanks Eric, but the reason I built that one was I like the vehicle, I like the Cold War era Bradleys, and I wanted to do a NATO paint scheme, camouflage scheme. I've never done it before, and I've always wanted to. It's just back in the old days when I was building kits and I was building some Cold War armor, I just never had really the equipment or the experience or the courage to even try it. So I tried it on this one. Turned out fine. Did a figure for it, and I think I just used the kid figure, and it turned out really well. I enjoyed it a lot. Brought back a lot of memories because I built one a long time ago, like back in the 80s. But it was different. It was the other version. It was M2A3 with an interior or something like that, and it didn't have the bolted on armor plate. But I enjoyed it then, and I thought, you know what, it'll be somewhat of a nostalgia build with a modern flavor for me because it's a little a little bit newer than that other kit, but doing a completely different, more complicated paint scheme. So, and that one I use mission models as well. So anyway, fun kit, really enjoyed it. Here it is. Next up was the Tamiya 1/48 scale BF109 G6 in Swiss markings. And I had a hard time finding markings decals for this kit. And the main reason I wanted the decals was for the measurements of the stripes and all the markings, because I wanted to paint them on as opposed to using decals. So I basically bought it as a template. I looked online, I couldn't find anything, and half the time that stuff's like out of scale or whatever. So I just used the decals to scale my markings, and I painted them on. And first time I've done a Swiss aircraft, and other than a few minor mistakes due to using the incorrect parts that were with the kit, it turned out really well. It was a really good kit. Thanks, Eric. Fit together really well. It has the magnets in parts of it, so you can have the engine compartment and the radiator, the engine cowling and the radiator cowling displayed in the open position, or you can have it displayed in the closed position, and they give you parts for both. So that was kind of neat. I liked it. If I had that option in the future, I'm not sure I would do it, because it's not something I mess around with. I don't go back and change them every once in a while, or I haven't yet. But for those who like displaying stuff like that, but would like the option of having it either or, and not just when you build it, but even after you get it built, you can change the parts to make it totally buttoned up or totally open. It's a really good system, and it works really well if you like that kind of thing. But it was a lot of fun. The added challenge of spraying the camouflage on the open cowling parts and on the closed cowling parts, that was kind of exciting, because I had to make it match somewhat. But really good kit. I was really stoked with the paint job. Again, I used Mission Models paints on that kit, and I also learned some things about Mission Models paints thanks to John at Model Paint Solutions. And I mentioned him before, and I'll probably mention him again, because he's a very helpful guy, and he was a big help on this particular kit because of some challenges I had with the paint, Mission Models paint. But anyway, great kit, had a lot of fun with it, liked the way it turned out as far as the markings go, so here it is. Then the last kit I finished for the year actually sprang from one of my earlier videos, and that's one of the short reviews I was talking about. Keith Short gave me Amusing Hobbies 1/35 scale Shote Cal Aleph. And he gave me that kit to review for him. So I did the review, and I went to give it back to him along with some other kits that I had reviewed. And he says, "Hey, would you build this thing? Do you want to build it?" And I said, "Well, no, it's your kit, build the thing." And he was like, no, if you want to build it, you can build it, blah, 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 have fun. It was like, look, if you're not going to build it, if you're just going to stick it in a corner somewhere to collect dust, I'll build it. So I did. And that was the last kit I finished for the year. So it was my first Amusing Hobby kit. And my impressions of the manufacturer off of this kit, they may have dogs, but on this one here, very favorable. It was a really good kit. There was a couple of things that I messed up on that I was able to fix really easily. Some of their parts don't have positive locating points, but the illustrations in the instructions are such that it's easy to determine where they go in relation to the other parts. And I talk about it in the video, so I'm not going to get into it here. But it ended up being a really good kit. I was able to finish it for my last kit of the year. So I was able to do 13 kits. So the Amusing Hobby Shote Cal, had to do some modifications on it because they're supposed to have, a dust cover on the mantlet. Kit doesn't come with it. Nobody makes one for the Amusing Hobby kit, so I had to use one for the AFV Club kit, but it worked, and it worked fine. So here's how it turned out. So that's all the kits I completed for the year, and with that, I am really stoked. I'm going into the new year for the first time since I've gotten back into this hobby with a clean slate. No kits in progress, nothing like that. So I can start clean. And I can start with making sure I do one kit at a time. Build the kit, paint the kit, finish the kit. Start new kit. Build, paint, finish. Start new kit. You get the idea. But I'm really stoked. So let's talk a little bit about the future of the channel. And I'll try and keep this brief, so if you haven't fallen asleep yet, do this. It'll only be a few more minutes, hopefully. Obviously, there's more kits on the horizon. My first kit of the year, if I decide to do it, may be something like super different than what I normally do. But we'll see with my first kit review of the year. We'll see what happens. But I've got quite a few projects lined up, specific projects that I have specific plans for, and I will talk about those on a future video. Aircraft and armor are in the mix, as well as some other stuff. So more kits on the horizon. I should have an update and potentially a review on the first kit I'm going to do here in the next few days, weeks, something like that. But anyway, more kits on the horizon. Also, as I said earlier, I plan on doing more experimentation slash demo type stuff, showing how I use certain products and tools, just for any of the beginning modelers that still watch my channel, because that's what it really started out to be, was plastic models for beginners. And I have quite a few early build series that are like that, and I may incorporate those again, you know, do some just like straight out of the box builds, geared toward beginners, where I get into the minutia of what I'm doing, how I do it, what I'm doing it with, etc. Because I really enjoy those, and I found that those have been quite helpful for a number of people. So keep an eye out for more of that type of content. Another thing that I mentioned in my last update video, and I think I've got kind of the hardware and software figured out, but I want to do some live streams, just like some live stream building, but more importantly, some live stream Q&As. Like I'll put up a notification video saying, hey, I'm going to be doing a, you know, Q&A on such and such a date, live stream, so tune in. I'll have to try and figure out a time that kind of, you know, covers a broad range of people, because I do have people outside of the US that watch my videos, and if they want to be involved, then I need to schedule things so it just kind of, you know, they're either not having to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which they would be crazy to do for one of my videos. Try and balance it out, but we'll see. But definitely going to be some live streams going on in the near future. And last, I plan on, me and Jim are going to be doing more chatterbox videos, where we talk about a subject. Sometimes we might just be blabbing, I don't know. It's an evolving thing, but we enjoy doing it, and we've had some pretty good feedback on it so far. So we'll continue to do that. Don't ever expect anything super polished. It's going to be like you're sitting at a table listening to both of us just blab about a subject. You know, there's not a lot of polish. There's not like groovy graphics or anything like that, at least not on my end, and I don't know if he plans on doing anything like that either. But we're keeping it simple, keeping it real, and just, you know, talking about whatever subject we might be pondering at a given time, about the hobby, the state of the hobby, whatever. So yeah, more chatterbox stuff's coming up. And there you go. That's pretty much it. That's the wrap up for 2021, and a little bit of a look at what's coming up for 2022. So I want to say first and foremost, thank you very much to all of my subscribers, especially those who like to comment, ask questions, stuff like that in the comments. The interaction is really what I dig most about this channel. It's fun to do the videos, but it's also fun to help people, you know, by having the step-by-step stuff, and, you know, maybe helping people get into the hobby and stick with it, maybe. But that's really what it's all about, is helping other people, and then the interaction and making, you know, quite a few long distance friends on YouTube. And, you know, as much as you can make a friend over the internet, you know. But there's some really good people out there. For all of you who comment and are supporters by viewing, it's not monetized, there's no Patreon, none of that kind of stuff. So by supporters, I mean people who watch the content and comment and stuff. I really appreciate all of you. Thanks a lot for watching, for sticking with me through the years, through the different changes I made on the channel, the incessant blabbing, like now. But I really appreciate it. So to all my viewers and subscribers, you all get a big like, thumbs up. Appreciate it. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in for this update for 2021. Looking forward to seeing what 2022 has to offer. And as always, thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude, and I will see you all later.